Of Down Unders, another week of finals is done and dusted. And brother, unfortunately, my boy's been knocked out, but your boys prevail through 1 week to see if you guys can hold on to staying into the finals. Brother, how are you feeling coming into this week?
Look, nervous, but super proud of the boys on the weekend, as you should be, brother. Stellar season, and you know, you guys were backs against the wall the whole year with injuries, and it just got too much in a do-or-die game, which I do believe you guys were really in. So, but yeah, super proud of the boys, regardless of the result, and hopefully we can just really give the Panthers a good crack this week.
100%, brother, 100%. So yeah, guys, we'll jump in and we'll talk about the first week of finals of 2025. We'll go through our big performances and stuff, go through our usual segments of team of the week and hit of the week and all that sort of jazz that you're waiting for. And talking about jazz, thank you so much for jumping into the comments early. Jazzy, as always, guys, it is a live show, so jump in, have a chat with us. Not too much of a run sheet tonight. We're just going to go through a couple of things that we enjoyed, and then we'll jump over to Supercoach finals as well after doing our weekend preview and review. So, brother, first of all, the one big topic actually we're going to talk about is, you know, obviously the title of the video, the title of the live stream, but we might as well talk about probably the biggest game of the weekend, the Brisbane Broncos getting it done over the Canberra Raiders. First of all, do you agree with the sentiment that this was one of the greatest finals games that we've seen probably in the last how many years? Or can you keep track of any games on the top of your head that probably replicate or probably, you know, level up with this one?
I think most years we see really good final games. So I think it was good in the fact that it went the 95 minutes or 96 minutes. Like, that was astonishing. Other than that, like, it was a pretty poorly reffed game. And, you know, you had two games where, two times where Canberra had the game won, and then it was a last minute decision. So I don't know. I wouldn't say it was one of the best final games ever. Like, it's a good finals game. It's got a lot of memories. It's got a lot of high emotion moments. Don't get me wrong. But as like amazing footy to watch, probably not.
Yeah. I think it was a beauty and a curse of the game in the sense of, like, I think that's what made it beautiful it was a game that both sides just absolutely went all out attack, just trying to get it done. There was a lot of, like, you know, back and forth in between a game. We'll definitely get into that as well. But 5 tries apiece. You know, the conversion side of things came the Raiders side with 4 out of 5 with Jamal Fogarty. But one big key one ended up being the big misser out of all this. If you actually, you know, Jamal Fogarty's hit that last one, would have been done and dusted. And then obviously the Broncos, you know, 3 out of 5 conversions, but the penalty goal and obviously the big field goal to end off the game with Benny Hunt. We may as well touch on that first of all too. Benny Hunt, bro, the redemption story sort of thing. You know, him obviously losing a grand final, but winning a really big key final. And we probably would both agree this was a major key final for the Broncos, I believe. I think that for them to jump a full round of footy and pretty much they have to play that one better game and one more better game, they're in the grand final. And Benny Hunt was didn't have the greatest game, but he pulled it out when it needed to be count.
Yeah, redemption for Benny. You know, too bad it's not for him the grand final yet, but look, still a massive shout out to him for getting that little victory there for his own peace of mind as well. But definitely massive victory for the Broncos. For anybody out of us or Penrith to have to go to Brisbane now and play qualifying final for the grand final is tough work, man. Like, if the Broncos had to have that this week, you know, they probably still would have won, but don't get me wrong, it would have been a lot tougher, you know, to then have to go and play, you know, Canberra and Canberra. Melbourne and Melbourne. If they lost that game on the weekend to get into a grand final, it's much harder road to take than the one that they've just given themselves. So, yeah, shout out to the Bronx for getting the job done, and shout out to Benny for getting a little bit of redemption.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Lockie in the chat. Up the doggies, he comes through. Great to see you in the chat finally, Lockie. We spoke about predictions last week and you weren't there ready for us. So hopefully tune in for a longer period of the show. But talking about, again, like looking at the statistics of the game too, brother, it pretty much, like, you know, emulates exactly what you thought of the game in a way. The error rate, 17 errors there from the Canberra Raiders, 12 from the Broncos. I heard the sentiment over a week, you know, with the Warriors and with the Roosters. I think both teams had probably about 15 to 16 errors out of each, you know, and everyone was like, well, that's, you know, never's going to win you a finals game. The Raiders were 17. They were out with a lead of 28 to 12. are you worried as a Raiders fan seeing like how far they kind of dropped off, or was it more so the Broncos' brilliance towards the back end of that game that you probably given more credit to out of that performance? Like as a Raiders fan, are you worried seeing that, or are you more so going, oh, just one of those brilliant moments from the Broncos?
You got to be a little bit worried. You really do, and they're just lucky that it wasn't a knockout. You know, you see this a lot. You've seen it happen to the Broncos in a grand final where, you know, they shut up shop and thought the job was done. You know, I've been in games where other team has shut up shop and think they've got the win, and we've had the comeback. Canberra will learn a lot from it, and I guarantee if they get the foot on the throat this week against Cronulla, they will not let up. So it's a good lesson to learn. It's a shame that it happened in a final for them, but they're lucky it didn't happen in a knockout or a grand final. As terms of the game, yeah, exactly right. A lot of errors still, a lot of penalties. There wasn't like amazing try saver moments where it's really good defense and it's a good back and forth. It was kind of just a free-for-all for tries and points. And that, for me, is why it's not probably considered one of the greatest finals games. Don't get me wrong, a lot of amazing storylines, and it was exciting to watch. But when you think of like world-class footy, I would say that there's still a few other games from memory that were top class.
Yeah, and 100%, bro. And we may as well talk about all the big talking points out of this game because there's a lot that came out of it. First of all, the refereeing, right? We'll get to the certain decisions during the game, but I even thought that before those big decisions, the refereeing actually was fairly poor during the game. I've actually heard, you know, certain guy like on Levels podcast, Justin Hotto, and actually saying that it was actually refed pretty well in that game, and I slightly disagree. Like I felt like, what was it? It was a 6-1 penalty count at one stage there. And like, you know, you guys already know my sentiment around that with like, you know, the Queensland Maroons earlier on this year. That's like, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you can be really ill-disciplined and certain areas where you give away penalties and that. But there's some certain key ones as well on both ends of the football, which I kind of didn't agree with. And then we come to the big moment in the game where it felt like that Ashley Klein was sort of losing control in over moments where he was obviously, you know, pinging that whistle here and there. The 6 agains were going. And then that one big moment where it kind of blew up. But before that, like before the big moments, how did you feel that Ashley Klein was kind of like dictating the game and how he was kind of feeling it? Because for me, it did feel like it was a game that he was kind of losing control over. And he was pinging the whistle on either end of the ball. I wouldn't say it's just like lent towards one side. I think that either way it was fairly poor.
Just some of the calls he brings up. For me, it feels like Ashley Klein really wants to be involved in the game instead of just letting the game happen. You know, like he tries to find moments to get involved and create a story instead of just letting the teams go at it sort of thing. I thought, I was with you, brother. I thought it was very, very poorly refed. And then come to the big decision, completely wrong for me. Completely wrong.
Yeah, we may as well touch on it first of all. Because it's a major talking point throughout the week. But Hudson Young and Reece Walsh obviously come together after a knock on. I think Shibasaki knocked the ball on from memory on that edge due to, I think, Reece put the pass on, and Hudson Young, as Hutto Young does, and as, you know, very competitive footballers do, everyone has one of these guys in their side. Got in the face of Reece Walsh, she fired up, and Reece, brain explosion. You know, headbutt. For me, it wasn't a major headbutt or anything like that, but it was a headbutt, and Hutto played it out. And to see Hudson Young sit in the sin bin for, you know, getting like, you know, celebrating or, you know, getting in the face and stuff like that, I love seeing that. So I don't like seeing that getting, you know, pretty much adjudicated on in that sort of sense. Like Reece for me was the one that had the brain explosion. Reece for me should have been the one that's sitting no matter what. And then obviously on the back of that, to get the penalty off of that too, the Broncos, that kind of boggled my mind in the moment. I didn't have much time to kind of look over it because I was having dinner with my wife. But when looking back on it, I was just like, how, like, you know, you saw multiple instances over the weekend where it got let go. Like in Ronaldo Mulatalo versus Mark Anoyang and Ituase happened multiple times where both guys kind of just came together and they didn't. And there was no penalizations between any of that. Your thoughts on that one big moment? Because I know you got a great thought in that moment as well. It was just a weird way, the way they kind of adjudicated on that situation.
100%. Like if that's how it's refed, Klein would be binning somebody every error in State of Origin, but he didn't. So why in this moment do you decide to sin bin somebody for getting in somebody's face and celebrating, not even physically touching them, and then because that person reacts and headbutts them, you bin him for interrogating? Like, instigating, sorry, not interrogating. Very, very poor decision, in my opinion. Very, like, for me now, if I was Ricky Stewart, I'd just be picking some dud player that's playing his first game, and I'd be putting him out there, and I'd say, look, you're going to go spray Nico Hines on the weekend, get him to react.
Yeah.
Both you guys sit down. All right, we lose somebody that we didn't really care if they're playing or not. They lose one of their main players. Like, you can go out there with that tactic now to bait them and get them. You know, whereas I 100% agree with Ricky Stewart that if it was a Joe Tarpanay or a Hudson Young or one of these guys like a Nelson Big Nas for Melbourne, if it was one of these guys with a bit of a record, bang, sin bin straight away or sent off straight away, 2-3 week suspension. I really do believe that. But because it's finals, Reece Walsh is exciting. Yes, we want our best players playing, but we can't let them get away with whatever they want to get away with. I think that's very, very poor.
Yeah, for me, like when I look at like suspensions and stuff like that after it, like I'm conflicted. Like when I see the headbutt, I go, yeah, it should be because he brain explosion. Like, you know, he should be off for a week, this and that. But I also do kind of agree with the sentiment because, like, you know, it goes against that argument of if Nas did it. I guess with Nas and stuff, it's come more so because they've done stuff like that in the past. Probably gives it a little bit more of like, you know, if they did do it, it's kind of like, all right, you know, it's Nas, we got to send him off sort of thing. But the discussion of Morgan Smitty's doing it in a tackle where he actually properly violently headbutted Fanor Bolle to where he actually caused blood and stuff, and he got fined, didn't get sent suspended for the week. Like, it's just weird how they're adjudicating on, like, that's my biggest issue out of that. Again, it wasn't, for me, I don't have the Ricky Stewart sentiment. It was like, if it was Nas and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure, if it was Nas and that, it probably would look a ton worse and it would be a crazy situation. But I don't like that, you know, Morgan Smitty's didn't get a week for what he did in that game. Exactly. I don't like that Reece didn't get a week from this game, especially when you're seeing certain hip drop issues that at the moment that some people are getting weeks off of because of it, that I don't believe is a hip drop. Like, for me, that's a deliberate action to kind of cause harm comparatively to someone that's having an accidental accident that's causing harm that's getting weeks as well. So that's where I sit on it more so. Exactly.
And, you know, you got poor Paddy Carrigan. Yes, it came off wrong, but his intent wasn't to go in there and really make contact with the head. You can't say that it was. He was in there to put a big hit on to try and change the tide of momentum, and it come off wrong. And, well, now he's got to face a week. Whereas Reece Walsh has deliberately led with his head, not in a tackle or anything, and he gets off scot-free. And, yes, we want our best players playing the game, but we can't let them get away with whatever they want. And it shouldn't matter if it's a finals game, the week before a grand final. As you said, Isaac Luke from a few years ago, I'll be looking at it going, are you fucking serious? Like, he had to miss out on a grand final. And, you know, he was a key part of that Rabbits team for something very silly. So I think there's no better lesson for someone like Reece Walsh to learn is to let his team down and have a suspension for 1 week. Like, it's probably the best thing that he could have done, the NRL could have done for him too, to learn off. But, you know, he gets off scot-free with it. Yes, a little fine, which is a 0.8 of his salary or something. So I think a week should have been for sure at least.
Well, with that situation anyway, right? So we kind of both agree in the sense of like, if everything was adjudicated right, Morgan Smitty's was adjudicated right, this was adjudicated right with the week off or whatever, like they both get the week off. Do you think, all right, this brings up a whole new discussion. Wasn't it Taylor May, not last year, the year before, that had his suspension pushed out to the next year? Would you agree to keep playing the best players in final series, that they should have it to next year? Do you believe it all fair and well that they get it done? They have to sit out. It is what it is. Yeah.
All fair and well. It shouldn't be who the player is. It shouldn't be how big they are for the game or anything, or how exciting they are, what fan draw they have. If they fuck up, they fuck up. They're professionals. It shouldn't matter. You serve your time then and there. No matter if it's before the grand final, round one, Australia, New Zealand, whatever, Origin, like if you make that mistake where it's deliberate like that, I'm sorry, you should miss it. And yes, it wasn't the most violent headbutt, but nonetheless, it needed to be nipped in the butt. But again, it just looks like Reece is becoming a bit of a protected species that we have seen in the past from players.
Yeah, and like for me, I when I talk about it, I like to kind of, not to say I don't want to say that he's protected species in that sort of sense, because I think there's multitude of players that have been under that sort of same umbrella, 100%. Right? Like a lot of people have argued Critter for like this last period. He's a protected species coming to the final series. A lot of his issues. You know, Nico Hines is another one that we discussed about with the hip drop issue. That probably for me, I didn't think it was a hip drop in that sort of sense. But when it got adjudicated that it was a hip drop, he was supposed to have weeks, and then he got pulled away from him. It does look like the NRL want to keep their star-studded players playing final series. I don't want to like kind of nail it down to like Reece in himself, because like, you know, there's certain star players that do get away with it. I think it's probably more of an element of like, I think if Cam Munster did this, if Harry Grant did this, if Nathan Cleary did this, like I think if all their big players did this, they would still be playing for the next week as well.
100%. While they're in finals still and while they're alive, 100%. We've seen it in the past, you know, Cam Smith, you know, JT, guys that have done things where you go, oh, yes, I know the carryover point system. If you're a repeat offender, you get more. But if you see somebody else that, you know, like a Hargraves, bro, straight away throwing the book at them. But these other guys are, you know, slap on the wrist sort of thing. Like, there's just no consistency. And it's with everything. And it's not just a target attack on Reece. That's just come up because of what happened and the big talking point of the game. And I think it made it worse for the fact that Hudson Young got sin binned with him. I feel like it would be less died down if he didn't get sin binned and it was just Reece Walsh. But here we are.
100%, bro. And just to back on the back of that too, obviously Paddy Carrigan is facing a 1 to 2 week ban. From memory, I'm pretty sure he's going to take the early guilty period.
Just before, but he's got the 1 week. So he'll only play if they make the grand final now.
Yeah, okay. And do you think that's a smart decision on him? Do you reckon there was any other way? Like, do you think that he should have gone to the judiciary? Did he have an argument to fight for? Or do you think that more than likely missing a week and getting to play a grand final means more than anything?
100%, brother. You don't want to risk it and get upgraded to 2 weeks, which I don't like either. I don't like the whole, I'm going to challenge it and fight it. It to me, there's videos everywhere of what you did. You should not be able to fight, whether it's an accident, whether this happened, that happened. It's you hit somebody in the head. You hit somebody in the head. It's the same as if you kill someone. You shouldn't be able to negotiate what you get for parole. Like, oh, I'll give you a tip for this, or I'll do this many community service. Mate, you killed someone. Like, you hit somebody in the head. It should be this length suspension. Done. It shouldn't be, if I fight it though and I challenge this, or the grass was a little bit long and I slipped, like, come on. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Because I did hear the arguments that tactically how they were going to play this one out. So I heard the arguments that if they were thinking that the Dogs were going to be under strength with injuries and stuff, and they just make it through the Penrith Panthers thinking they were going to be under strength and obviously tired because they played their big game with Penrith, whether he just fights the charge and see if he gets off. He doesn't fight the charge, so you can just take the week off and thinking they'll be okay. But if the Panthers go through and they got to play the Panthers, whether he fights the charge and plays that game, because more than likely a lot of people are saying that if the Panthers go through, maybe they'll knock out the Broncos and make it to a grand final.
Yeah, well,
I've heard that.
That's smart, but shouldn't he be facing that like yesterday?
Yeah.
Not, oh, you know what? We'll delay it a week to see who you're playing first.
Exactly. So that didn't really make sense.
That's some Bronco privilege shit, though.
I've heard that argument, and I was like, oh yeah, and I didn't even think, that doesn't really make sense of how that's even going to play out. You can't wake a week later and then next minute go, yeah, right, I'm going to fight judiciary now.
Exactly. Oh shit, I need to play this week. So anyway, that's where we are with that. Like, crazy game though. I really feel for the Raiders fans that were at the game, would have celebrated so many times just for it to not be over.
And just quickly before we jump on to point two, again, another, I don't want to say controversial. Some people claim it that. The penalty, Reece Walsh field goal, Hudson Young coming through the leg, taps the leg, right? Penalty, no penalty. It's a penalty these days, but
it's a penalty these days. Whether there's much or not in it, that's been pretty consistent, I guess.
Yeah,
I got to give them that, and you know that has the rule now of they get to check it, even though it's full time. They get to check it, so it is what it is. I agree with that being consistent. That's one thing that's all we ask for is consistency. Whether it's right or wrong, we just want consistency across all games. Like a spade is a spade.
Yeah, exactly right, Bala. Exactly right. Quickly moving over, bro. We'll gloss over a couple other games. Obviously, the Melbourne Storm, 26-18 over your Doggies, Bala. I think for you guys, right, touching on you guys first of all, I think the big shining light, or I'd say, with all the injuries that happened to you guys still held into that fight all the way to the end against the Melbourne Storm, and that should always be a big credit. Toby Sexton coming off the bench and doing what he did, I just want to like, obviously a lot of people have been talking about this as well, but I think like it's also cool for us to come out and just say, hey, like the way Toby Sexton's handled this whole situation, he's been an ultimate professional, and like to him to come in and just have a big moment like that, all credit to him, and incredible to see him get a starting lineup this week. Whether or not if Critter was playing, I probably wouldn't say he got his starting lineup back, but there's an argument between there. But he stepped up in a big key moment, and obviously shows out to a lot of fans to give the argument of like, maybe we could have used Sexton or not. And to him, that's enough at the end of the day.
100%. And you took the words out of my mouth with the ultimate professional. Like at the end of the day, that's your job. You know, your job is to still fulfill your contract that you signed up for despite what's happened, and not go and kick stones. And he's done that, and he got the credit he deserved on the weekend, and the uproar from the fans as well when he did score that try. So
crazy.
Good on him, and I wish him nothing but the best in the future. I do believe going forward that we are doing the better option, even though people are saying right now it's not the right option. But going forward, I do believe Galvin will be the right option long term. But good on Sexton. I think it shouldn't have been such a blatant cutoff. But I guess they're thinking of next year already.
The future.
But yeah, nonetheless, great game. I was surprised Kickout came back at all. I thought he was HIA for sure gone. And then, you know, Crichton on top of it. It just become almost too big of a job. But there was a moment there where we could have won, and Kurt Mann decided to kick instead of pass to a 3-on-1. And that for me, there's no excuses with injuries. Like there's an excuse, but there's no excuse. You still got the same amount of guys out there. You know, you still train as a team, and we still could have won it in that moment, but it was just a wrong decision making.
I think, like, you know, within a Dogs though, these are the moments that you will grow from in the long period. Like, people still got to understand like how quickly you've come to prominence at the moment. Like last year you made 6th, you got bowed out in the first week of finals, but we saw the promise of what the Dogs could be in the future. This year you've taken ultimate next step where you're top 4 side. You know, it's just closing out big finals games and hitting finals mentality at the moment. I think that's still just a period where the Dogs are still just trying to find their way up of. And I think like, whatever happens this weekend, because we'll definitely discuss about the game against the Penrith Panthers and that, like, I believe that you're right in within your rights to have a great game and maybe come out with a victory against the Penrith Panthers. But whatever you take out as final series, you will get better from it, because we've shown in history that you come from 6th and you learnt from your experiences, you've gotten better. You come to this year, obviously there's some things happen mid-year, things change and that, but you're a top 4 team. You're not a top 6 team anymore. You're top 4. It's just adding that extra little piece, bringing Leo Thompson into the building, stuff like that, having a more dominant forward in the middle of the field to give to Max Kinger as well, and have a combination. I cannot wait to see that progression in the future. Not to say he's get bounced out already, but I'm just saying, like, you know, probably more positive looking for the Dogs fans, because I know that when you're a team that's on the rise that it is now, people want to push you down as quickly as possible because they don't want to believe that you can get up that quickly. But you guys are progressing very, very quickly still. And I know that's been a little bit of a flat spot towards the end of the season, but there's still a lot of positives still to be out here.
100%. And you take all the pressure out, you know, with Reed and Sexton moving on, and Galvin and Hayward just really get to settle in at preseason and really work on their positions and know their role for the year. One thing I will say, though, is taking Reed and Sexton out this year really took a lot of that chip off the shoulder out of our team, and the chip off their shoulder from losing that game to Manly last year. And I think having those 2 guys still in the team playing finals this year would have helped motivate the team, be like, we were there last year, we lost, we don't want to have that again. And I feel like we do miss that a little bit, but time will tell, brother. We'll get better in the future. And before we jump on to Melbourne, I just want to quickly jump through the chat, brother. There's been a few questions that we didn't get a chance to get to.
Go through, brother. What do you got?
So we got Jazzy. Oh, Jazzy, I can't give you a sneak peek already for the upcoming week, mate. You got to hang around. I got the Raiders.
He's trying to get it early,
mate.
He's trying to get it early.
And Drizzy, go, come on, brother. Come on. We can't go and spoil grand final winners already as well. You guys are eager. For me, it's still Melbourne. But we'll see. And we're going to just brush past Chris because, you know, fuck him.
Shout out to Chris O on Bali. We're coming to Bali with you, Chris O. Run away.
That's actually it. Oh yeah, Jazzy Klein got a pass mark too. Yes, he did get a pass mark from the NRL, and I guarantee he'll be given the grand final regardless, which I think is bloody horrendous.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in agreement said it's a bit confusing why he continues to get these big games. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those ones at the moment. But
what did you think about the reffing in the Storm Doggies game? Did you think that he almost put the whistle away a little bit too much?
Possibly in moments. I prefer it in that sort of sense though. Like I think that especially with teams like the Dogs, right? The Dogs, the Panthers, the Melbourne Storms of the world, stuff like that. Like their game predicates on just like free flowing footy and keeping the ball in play and not too many stop starting. I felt like when we even bounced over to our game a little bit later on, I felt like early on, it just felt like there was really stop start. There was so many like just, all right, can we get it? Can we get it going? Like, can we get a full physical battle to start off the game? I thought that this game was like, allowed to kind of grow and for people to find their spots. I prefer it that way. I do think that maybe it could be adjudicated on probably a little bit better in certain moments, but I prefer it more so this way than what it was probably for our game or, other games in the future.
Yeah, I agree, brother. I hate the old piggyback penalty just for the sake of it.
Oh, bro. And nothing frustrates me more, especially with our systems, right? That predicates on like, trapping teams down the opposite end. And that's where teams look for the penalty. They look for those like offside penalties, or they look for the holding down the tackles, like dominant tackles, stuff like that people don't understand. We've spoken about this in the past, but like I prefer a referee to be like, hey, like this team's getting over the top of it, but that's okay. They're doing it within the rules, or to win within the what I would call the rules at the moment. Allow it to continue to happen. Don't give piggybacks to a team that's like, begging for it at the end of the day.
Yeah, just because they're not making meters doesn't mean they deserve the penalty. It doesn't mean the defensive team's doing anything illegal.
Make them drown. Make them drown.
Exactly.
And just talking about it quick, Larry, obviously the Melbourne Storm in this performance, what did you see out of the Melbourne Storm that made you think that maybe they are, going to be back into finals? Like, let's say, could they be finals favourites? What did you see that took away from that? Like, how do you feel about the Melbourne Storm after this game?
Oh, look, Jonah Pezzett, bro, just clinical in such a big game for a young man, probably biggest game of his career so far. Stepping up, Jerome Hughes, Storm kind of getting written off a little bit. Outstanding performance from him. Harry Grant back to his usual best. Munster running game on point. Add in the fact they still got Pappenhausen and Jerome Hughes to potentially come back. Still scary. Very, very scary.
And Stefano Utoikamanu as well, my most improved player of the season. I thought he stepped up in this game. Just wanted to, most improved player of the season, bro. What do you know?
Yeah, you're right. He did.
But, shout out to his 14 tackle breaks being all on Bailey Hayward. Bailey Hayward trying to lead line speed, the poor little bloke in the middle, and Stefano just targeted him all night. I think he ended up with 14 tackle breaks, and legit, if you go back and watch the game, you watch every single one of them. It's Bailey Hayward trying to stop the momentum early and getting in front. But, Stefano, I think Stefano has been very, very good for Melbourne lately.
He has, brother, but also big red 74-minute performance over at Canberra.
I see you. All right. We'll move over to the game over in Auckland, brother. The Penrith Panthers, Ivan and Nathan Cleary come back to their motherland, of New Zealand, and they take out a finals game against the New Zealand Warriors, 24-8, brother. For you, on an outsider's thought, your thoughts on the game in general, what were the key moments in this one? Like for me, I thought Nathan Cleary had an absolute masterclass with a boot, and I thought Isaiah PAPALI'I was probably one of the biggest shining lights there for the Penrith Panthers in this game. I thought he completely changed the game. But what did you see in this game, and what did you like out of the Panthers? What did you like out of the Warriors, maybe? What was your thoughts in general?
Yeah, you guys normally swing momentum really well when you see Va'amawanga and Leka normally come on. I know Leka started this game, but PAPALI'I really just took that away from you guys. He took away the chance of you guys having that. He's back to being fit. He's back to being a hard ball runner, and he come back to haunt you guys, another guy that left use. But yeah, you're right. Nathan Cleary, ball on a string, just really knew how to turn the screws at the right time. Anytime you guys kind of got into your rhythm of pinning them down in their corner, tackle, three kick, back to, all right, let's swing that back. And then it was a little bit of a tit for tat of an error or can you guys keep this up? Like, and it just kind of just wore on you a little bit. And that's just probably the inexperience a little bit of your guys. Not to say any of them did anything wrong, but just speed in a finals game is completely different as well. So the fatigue factor goes up to another level, and you still got a lot of young guys that are going to take so much from that game. And not to mention that when you really did start to look like you're coming home strong, you got done by a forward pass and an unlucky bounce. So that's a very, very crucial part of the game was that, you know, if you guys took that ball, you would have been on the 50 starting a set.
Yeah.
And that was a big moment of the game. Got a really bad bounce and a forward pass.
It killed us, man.
Come back to my point of, can we please find a way to call forward passes?
Yeah, I think that was
at least.
That was a big one. Like, and especially, you know, I felt like, you know, the video ref even gave it a little bit of time to see if there was an offside at least or something to pull that one back or whatever they could do. But obviously, you know, when you see it out in the film, you just see it and you just go like, you know, the more it gets replayed, you just go, bro, like, can't we just take this off? Like, we all know that,
just call it.
Just call it. It's just crazy. But, you know, massive shout out to the Penrith Panthers. They just continue to do what they continue to do. And again, I want to reiterate, like, I made a video on this, guys. If you want to go check out my full thoughts on this game, and if you go check out on Wise Up TV, I like, you know, I go through that thought again, but I'll go through it just quickly one more time. I'm so proud of our boys. Like, you know, you go up against Penrith. Penrith ran in, no Mitch Kenny, and the rest of their team full strength. They're ready to go for finals. You know, they rested coming into it, so we knew it was going to be a tough task. And, you know, all I heard all week was we need to go out and play a different style of footy to win, beat against the Penrith Panthers. And yeah, 100% that ended up being right at the end of the day. But I felt like our style of football was taking it to the Penrith Panthers for a long period of this game. We swung momentum in multiple periods. The biggest difference I felt like between the two sides was the playmaking, and it was Nathan Cleary. And like, I feel like that, again, going back to nothing against Tanner Boyd, I thought he had a solid game in this one without being incredible. You know, even with Chanel and that, I think if Luke Metcalf was there, I feel like that we would have had a really good opportunity to win this game. I feel like if Mitch Barnett was there, but, and just lastly there too, like 12-8, you know, in a period where, and then that bounce of the ball sort of went against us, you know, the forward pass, this and that, it is what it is. Then we started chasing the game to push that one out to 24-8. It made it look a lot worse than what it actually was. I felt like we were absolutely right in that game throughout the whole period. Defensively, we were right there. A couple of key misses in the middle for tries. Obviously, that 1 hour dummy half with Brad Schneider. Probably we could have that one back again, right?
Mark as well. Yeah.
Yep. So, like, at the end of the day, when we're really looking at it, like, we beat him off shape with Leka Alasima. There was moments later on where Leka probably chose to pass instead of running, where he could have definitely opened up the game. I think there was a lot of moments where we should be very, very proud of what the boys felt. You know, and I go back to, I just see, I get frustrated when I see Warriors fan kind of look at this and kind of continue to be like, hey, you know, this, why can we do this and that? Like, we need to be better here. Our attack shit. Like, I see it all the time, but, you know, people don't understand. Like, people don't understand the balance of a football game and how it sort of played out. And I thought we played a really good footy game in this one.
I think the real fans will know that there was about a 5% on paper chance of winning that game. In all honesty, a real fan. And I think real fans should not take a negative out of that Warriors game and will not find the negative. You know, you'll find 95% of positives in that game more so than a negative. You know, no matter what you guys did different game plan wise on the weekend, it wouldn't have been a better result than what you've got. And it looks worse than it is. As you said, you take away that last try because that's just pushing the envelope to try and come up with something. So you don't count that. You take the forward pass off them and you're back to it being a really, really tight game. You know, they might have still won that game 12-8 if they didn't get that try and keep rolling momentum. But you just got to realize that your boys, well understaffed, well underexperienced, put up that fight, you know, against a team that's won 4 straight.
Yeah, and we should be proud.
Let's not forget that.
Exactly right, brother. And just quickly, bro, we'll summarize the Cronulla Sharks getting over the top of the Roosters. I was very surprised with this performance. I thought the Roosters were going to be the team in this one to go to the top of the Sharkies and knock out the Sharkies very early on. But I thought Number one, quickly I want to give to Braden Trindle. Incredible game out there. But I think the big key piece here, the Sharks, the energy that Ronaldo Mulatalo had in this game.
And
Toby Rudolph. Oh my God, incredible. But Ronaldo coming into the podcasting early on and be like, Mark Norgan needs to say this and that, like, call about aerial threats. He's like, I live in the air. I love that, bro. And then he's just like, this is me. And he goes out and he actually performs it. And did you hear? So before that, he calls, after the podcast, he calls up Craig Fitzgibbon. He goes, hey, coach, I'm really sorry. I said something on a podcast, but I'm going to back it up this weekend. How crazy is that?
Put your money where your mouth is. You can shoot off all you like. And if you go out there and you get burnt, as long as you take it on the chin as well. But he went out there and he performed. So shout out to him. I think Marky Mark got over him with the kick once, but didn't lead to a try.
No, and, going back onto it too, bro, like Toby Rudolph to win the game for him there off of Blake Brayley's beautiful ball playing and Toby Rudolph hitting a beautiful line. His career and his season this season, how he's come back from injuries and being not in the starting lineup and this and that and getting to the role that he has now, I think is a major plus. And the Sharkies, a lot of people have been touching on it, but they are coming into the final series with like less pressure than most. Not people. Exactly. Everyone's written them off and they're kind of flying under the radar. They've still got strike in all different positions. They got Adam Fanor-Blake and all that. They got opportunities, but what an incredible performance there from the Sharkies to get over top of the Roosters.
I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder, and Ronaldo and Toby have been really, really vocal about that. If you look at the Sharks 1-6 or 1-7 on paper, very, very underrated backline.
Exactly.
A very underrated backline. You got Sione Katoa, Ronaldo. For me, like, you could make an argue that they're the best duo wingers in the competition.
Yep.
When they're on, and that's not all the time. I'm not saying they are the best, but I mean, like a 1-2 punch of those two coming out of the back end, finishing tries, electrifying, X factor. They've got it all, 100%. And then you got two centers that are absolute workhorses and are really good defensively, and Jesse Ramian and KL Iro.
Mm-hmm.
So incredible. And then you got Will Kennedy, who's severely underrated.
Yep.
And then you got Braden Trindle, who, yes, is hit and miss, but he's such a young kid. Well, still a young kid, even though his hairline doesn't say it. And then you got Nico Hines, who is over-criticized. So those guys there, that 1-7 is really deadly. And then, they got such a good forward pack now that is building and continues to build.
Mm-hmm.
They could be so much in the future. I just don't know what it is, whether it's their resources at the club, if the club's small and they need a bigger fan base to help push them over in bigger games. I don't know what it is, but maybe they could prove us wrong this year and take it out. But they've got a good team there, man. On paper, they could run it with anybody.
And that's why I've been so disappointed in their year, in a sense, like even like in the position where they landed at the end of the season. Incredible to get themselves back to where they got to, but we went through our predictions last week. We were thinking they're a top 2 team. Like, we thought Adam Fanor-Blake, put him in. Like, even though, like, I had debates on, like, whether Adam was going to have as much impact as what people probably hoped him to. Because I felt like he was just, like, kind of that Sharks forward pack was a little bit, not say overweight, but they were too big, like, in a sort of sense. But they still were a team when you look on paper. Like, I've heard the opposite end of arguments that a lot of people are saying, well, they're not as good of a team as what people think they are. I was like, no, they're definitely as good as what people think they are. They just play inconsistent football at times. And I think a lot of it comes down to balance. But you could also go back to, as you said, maybe resources, because they are probably the team that doesn't have the best facilities in the competition and stuff like that. Maybe that is the key factor of why they're inconsistent, but they fed off their fans over this weekend there at Shark Park, and they got it done. So yeah, I don't know. They're a team that I look at them, I go, they should be a lot better than what they are. And then you start to look at it a little bit more and go, yeah, maybe they are placed where they should be. It's a real weird one with the Sharks.
They definitely have everything team-wise to go to the next level and be a very dominant team. Maybe it's coaching, maybe, it's facilities. I don't know. But regardless, great performance on the weekend. And we know that the Sharks can do this. They rolled Melbourne at Shark Park this year. They've got everything that it takes if they show up. That's the difference. Good on them. Couldn't be happy with a better team knocking the Roosters out.
I know you'd be loving it, bro. You'd be loving it. Shout out to the chat, going absolutely amazing at the moment too, guys. Jose's jumped into the chat. Thank you so much for coming through, bro. With the nay in the chat. Look at him. He's going crazy, and Jazzy backing him up. Tahi, as always, jumping in. Incredible. And shout out to Bronco Nakoma. Shout out to Nakoma from work, brother. We know Nakoma. He's like, I don't usually back the Sharks. We'll be.
Supporter.
He is a Panthers supporter. I'm not. I think he explained to me at work one time why it's Bronco Nakoma. I can't remember what it was, but
carry on.
Yeah, so I don't usually back the Sharks. Will be for the Raiders game. Not sure why, but even though they finished first, I'm still like the Raiders are not contenders. There's still that feeling around the Raiders.
Me and Ash feel the same. Like even they got out to that lead on the weekend, it was kind of like how.
Yeah,
but they did, and then they got run down, which they have that in them as well. So they're just very grindy, and we've always knew Canberra for like that. You know, me and Ash back on night shift watched them play Melbourne one time, and they were severely under-trooped with the experience, and they rolled Melbourne. It's just the type of footy they play. They want you to rule them out. They want you to take them lightly, and they will just come out and they'll grind for everything. And I think that's what the Raiders have really built off.
Yeah, and they found their style to where they're at the point now where they played unstructured footy, and in this new era, unstructured footy has its moments where it's going really, really well. Like, I don't think, like, when I look at the Raiders, they don't hit points on the field. They bounce everywhere. You got players like Hudson Young that will like fan about four blokes, end up on the right side. You got players like Corey Horsburgh that doesn't hit his post. You got, you know, we saw over the weekend when they're lining up for field goals, they started shifting too far left. They were too far away from it. Like they're a team that doesn't play on any systems. They just play footy through effort and hard, and they find on like they play. It's pretty much like a fighter that fights on half beats instead of fighting on like a strict game plan. Like they fight with what 100%. They see. So they're very similar to that sort of sense. And it's hard to get a read on the Raiders because I'm right there with you. And as Nakoma said, like, I just looked at him this year. I'm like, I just don't see it yet. I still don't know why. I just don't. But, you know, they have a chance this weekend against the Sharkies, and we'll get through that a little bit later on, right? 2
cracker of games this weekend, brother.
Can't wait for it, brother. But first of all, let's get through our team of the week. Are you ready to go? Team of the week here.
Ready to go, brother.
Beautiful. I see you there, man. Fullback of the week.
Has to be Walshy, brother, despite the brain explosion.
I know. Is that 2 weeks in a row, right? I think that's 2 or 3, maybe.
I think
maybe
it's
4.
I think he's probably gotten 4 out of the last 5 for us.
I've heard the discussions of like, where does his rates fall? You know, it probably is for me under, you got your Turbo season, you had your Jared Haynes season, your Benny Barber season, stuff like that, right? But for his run home, it's been really good to get the Broncos to where they are right now.
It's been like a KP run home when he won the Daily M.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a great whole season as a whole, but a patch of 5-6 games, 100%.
Where it clicked and it looked incredible. Yeah, shout out to Reese in that one. Wingers of the week.
I went with Brian Toto and Ronaldo.
Yeah, bang on. I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. Who was close for you? Is Mark Nwanga need to ask that close at all?
Marky Mark was in that first half, and then you know got let it go away in that second. Karaz was up there in a losing squad. I thought Karaz was really, really nice.
Yeah, I'm right there with you though. Ronaldo Militalo, just mentality phenom, and Brian Toto, he broke open the game a couple of moments there too against our boys. He's just so hard to handle, that man.
100%, brother. Getting the try assist.
Is he going back to being underrated? Because I've heard a lot of people say that Xavier Coates is the best winger in the competition now, and I'm like, no, Brian Toto is the best winger in the comp still.
Xavier Coates had big moments this year, but I don't even think he's had a great year.
We've had this discussion, eh?
Yeah, because he's not in my winger for the year, let alone best winger. So
I think we're as like rugby league fans, we are prisoner of the moment, and when we have those moments, we fall in love. Yeah, so it ends up being that way.
To me, Marky Mark's had a better year than Coates. He's done what Coates has done and more in a probably less team and in his first year.
And shout out Roger.
Yeah, to me, Roger's had a better year. So anyway, we're not getting into this.
We won't get it. Yeah. All right, centers of the week, bro.
I went with the Katoni Staggs, no brainer.
Yep.
And me and you talked a little bit about this one. I went with Lecker. I know he had a couple of little moments at the end, but all in all, killer game at 19. Penrith couldn't handle him. And he really looked like the one to break the game open. So I'm so excited to see him next year with another preseason under his belt.
Yeah, first year, first finals, Penrith Panthers, and he was like playing around with Scotty Sorensen and out there. Like it was Bro, gnarly. Shout out to Lecker.
And Scotty ain't no slouch in defense.
Hell no. So when he plays his preferred position, Lecker, oh my God.
100%.
I went Katoni Staggs and I went love with your boy, bro, Matty Burton. I thought Matty Burton switching out to the center. Again, every time he finds himself a center, it always brings up the argument, is he a center? Is he a 5'8"? Like, I feel like he has a lot of great moments of 5'8" as well. That's center too, bro. He can be damaging as well.
He's just a footballer, brother. I remember it specifically. I was under 15s. I was playing halfback all year, and then for some reason, we made it to the grand final, and I got moved to center. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Had an absolute fucking worldie. You know, we were never going to beat Arana Hills. We weren't supposed to even be close to them. I ended up scoring a try, setting up a try, and kicking the 2 goals for those tries from the sideline right in front of their fans, giving it to me. And then it was kind of fitting because it got down to us losing by 1 point and I wasn't playing halfback. And the dude that took halfback from me missed a field goal from 20 out in front. And then they nailed one 40 out in front. And I don't like to say shit, but it just happens, bro. When you're a footy and you care and you try, you can play any position, in all honesty. And, Birdo's good at both.
He's in that mold of like a Jack Whiten type, just those guys that can play in multiple different positions. Ethan Strange is in that same argument to where you can chuck him anywhere. He's going to play football. So, bro, Birdo, incredible. And Katoni, for what he's done for the Broncos lately.
His run home has been incredible as well.
Yeah, he needs to be spoken about a little bit as well. Halves of the week, bro. Who's your 6 and 7?
I went with Braden Chirindle, brother, and I went with Jonah Peasant.
Right there with you, bro. I thought Nathan Cleary was, obviously fairly close on that, but I thought Jonah Peasant, what he did against you guys for his, final series, bro, incredible.
Yeah, it's like we kind of, as a Doggies coaching staff, went, yep, all right, we got Munster under control. Yep, we got Grant under control. Oh, who the fuck's this guy? Like, that's kind of how it felt watching it as well. Like, oh, yeah, cool, last tackle, Munster just got tackled. Oh, Peasant comes up with a 40-20. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that 40-20
just broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah, what an incredible play, and just that system just continues to breed just incredible players.
100%, brother.
Right there with you, bro. Front rower. Who's the front rowers?
I went with AFB, brother. I thought he was pretty outstanding. Kept bending the Roosters line, and I went with Stefano.
Yeah, I went with Stefano, and I went with my boy Jackson Ford. I wanted to give him a little bit of love. That first half that he had was right up there with one of the best. End up with 61 tackles in that game, but halftime 38 and no misses from memory.
Yeah, outstanding. I'm surprised he got through as much work as he did. Coming back off for a few weeks off, but freak. He's really relished that front row position.
100%. And when Mitch Barnett and all that comes back and we're able to obviously push him back, it's going to be great for us, but we know what he can produce when big moments step up.
100%, brother. 100%.
Who was the 9 of the week?
I went with Brayley, brother.
Ooh, Brayley. Yeah,
a couple of big moments there, setting up that try, and just good the whole game. Yeah,
big key moment there from Brayley. I thought that he was unreal. He's been unreal for this whole season. I think it needs to be more discussed of whether who's hooker of the year is Brayley. Obviously, the argument there. I haven't heard too much else about it, but incredible from him.
It should be him, brother.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. Moving over, I've got Tom Starling. He's a guy you can make a case for hooker of the year, but he played outstanding on the weekend as well. I wanted to give both guys their roses, and I knew you were picking Starling. Starling. Yeah. We spoke about this before. Obviously, we wanted to touch on it, but I thought Tom Starling, he broke open the game a couple of moments there in that Broncos game. I thought he was incredible around the ruck. He's just a guy that you always got to watch out for. As Warriors fans, we knew about him this season. He broke our hearts a couple of times. So just an incredible year from him as well.
Just good eyes up footy, so quick off the mark.
Bro, and his defense, bro. For a little bloke, his line speed gets up in the face. I'm sure he stops Payne and Paddy in his tracks a couple of times there, and I'm just like, who's this guy?
Bro. Yeah, it's like prime Damien Cook game.
Yeah, 100%. Edge back rollers.
I went with Hutto, bro. Hutto Young and Eli Katoa.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I'll follow you in there. Eli Katoa and Hudson Young, both incredible. Our edge back rollers of the year, I reckon.
100%.
Yeah. And lastly, 13.
I went with Paddy Carrigan, brother. I thought he was really good and kind of went unnoticed out there.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people have questioned Paddy this year and like whether he's had a great year here and there. I think he's gone pretty under the radar this season. He had quiet moments, but you know, he's still an elite player in his competition. I think people do forget about him a little bit.
100%. And he's obviously going to get ruled out of position because he started at front and then he moved to lock. So he's not going to get discussed for any position of the year, which is unfortunate. But I thought he's been solid this year for sure.
Yeah. And I got a guy that came off the bench. You could probably argue whether he did play in his 13 position or not, but I went Isaiah PAPALI'I. I needed to find a spot for him in any sort of way possible. He plays in the middle. He had played 13 the week prior, but I thought he was the big game changer against the Warriors in that game.
100%, bro. The impact he brought off the bench was incredible.
I think we had 60 or 70% possession before he came in, and then he just went crazy. And Drizzy, see, you had people, obviously Jazzy. Oh, Jazzy must be my moderator. I didn't even know. Shout out to Jazzy.
I don't know what that means.
Unless, he's had his comment. Deleted his comment. I'm not sure. I don't think I had moderators, brother, or if that. So who knows? I don't know. So sorry to hear that, bros. He's going crazy there in the chat. He's loving it. Drizzy's he's out here, bro.
ARW. Give it to us, brother. Tell us. Tell us.
Two players from each team. Anytime try scorer multi for this weekend. 100K from $3. Gamble responsibly. So I don't know if he wants us to give our two players anytime try scorer each game.
Sounds like he already knows the odds. So you tell us if you're telling us the players, brother, or if you want us to give you some. We'll give you some in the preview regardless.
Yeah, we'll give you some in the preview regardless, my bro. Keep an eye out. Stay in the chat.
We'll quickly get through this recap.
But if you have got yours, make sure you chuck it in the chat as well.
100%.
Hit of the week, brother.
Mine, not so much a hit, but just some good contact. Ronaldo on Robert Toya.
Yeah. That battle, on that edge, like Ronaldo just made it his, he just wanted to take out anyone that was on that edge.
100%, brother. Forced the error. Really big moment. Got the Sharks up and about.
And I needed Brodie's help for this one. I was trying to figure out who I had. I had someone in my mind, but Hudson Young. I thought Hudson Young's hit on Jaden Hunt. I'm pretty sure me and Brodie discussed in this one, but Huddo, bro, he's bringing some shoulder contacts. At the moment, he's unreal.
He's a guy that doesn't die wondering, in big games.
Yeah, no, he's so good, bro, at the moment. He's definitely grown in my eyes as a football player this season. I didn't rate him too highly prior to this. I didn't see anything too much I liked. But he's definitely changing a lot of my mind there. Try of the week?
My try of the week? I'm going to go with Ronaldo's first one, brother. I thought Braden Trindle's solo work to set that try up was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. I went Toby Sexton. I think just the story around that one moment. And even like looking back on our chat that night, I saw that me and Lockie back and forth in the chat, and when he had that moment, you're both like, "Can you imagine?" Oh wait, it actually is happening. It's incredible, bro.
It was.
What a moment.
It was. He deserved it, and he was adamant that it came off his knee, and sure enough, it didn't lie. Yeah.
Shout out to Toby Sexton. Player of the week.
I'm going to go with Reece Walsh. I did have Jonah Peasant, but just the comeback solo on Walsh, I've got to go with that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I got Reece Walsh this week. Again, just that moment, just bringing him back after the sim bidding. Yeah, he did. He was close to flawless in that last period of that game when he came back off the bench.
Other than that, missed close conversion, 100%.
Yeah, incredible. That field goal he almost got over. I was like, oh my God, this guy cannot do it wrong.
42 out.
Shout out to ARWs. You jumped into the chat anyway. Iro, Talakai, Tamale, Starling, Sherry, Karaz, Martin, Edwards. Place it today, boys. 100K off $3. Why not? Nothing to lose. Gamble responsibly, guys. You want to follow in ARW. But we'll think about Ito getting over. He loves scoring for the Sharkies. He had that period where he didn't miss a try, didn't miss a game with a try for the Sharkies this year. Talakai coming off the bench. There's a lot to happen here, but
the only two hard ones for me is Talakai and Starling. Other than that, I can make a case for all of them, and I can still make a case for Starling. Like Sharks are still a big forward pack. He could find a quick play the ball and go. and Talakai with a bit of impact off the bench for sure. I like it.
It's actually not bad. We might be following you in there, ARW. Keep an eye out. We might be celebrating next week, or 100K. We might not even be here next week.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Put
Bali.
it this way, we would be having somebody serve us drinks while we're live.
Shout out, Chris. Where are you? No. All right, brother. We'll end it off. Egg of the week. Who's your egg of the week in this one?
Mine was Billy Walters, bro, for that hideous challenge a minute out from halftime where it clearly was not touched, but they were adamant and they challenged with a minute to go for like a kick that was touched in flight, and it went out on the full, and they challenged it when Horsburgh was nowhere near it for starters. And second of all, even if you won that challenge, you had 45 seconds to attack. Was it really worth risking? And then, you know, they probably couldn't use the challenge up their sleeve in that back end of the game. So I thought that was a bit of an egg moment.
That actually, thinking back on it, that was I should have actually put that in. I put Ashley Klein. I thought just that whole refereeing performance, I thought that was just like egg all over his face in that one.
100%. He's lucky that nothing was thrown at him leaving that stadium.
Lucky it wasn't a doggies game. Shout out to the dogs.
Shout out to Gerald Sutton.
Yeah. All right, guys, we may as well jump straight over into our weekend preview. Hopefully my computer's going fairly well. It just spazzed out for a sec there, but I think we might be on quickly here. And we might, as we said before, we might give you a couple of our try scorers for each game to see if you can get a really nice multi out of it.
100%.
Probably won't go as big as what ARW had with, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 try scorers, but...
yeah, two times 4 is 8, Ash. He said 2 for every team.
Yeah, I know. I just, you know, beach me kabucha math, bro. It's doing me well right now.
But I'll happily give 1 for every team. That's what we'll do.
I'm happy. Yeah, we'll do that, right? The Canberra Raiders versing the Cronulla Sharks on a Saturday. I kept thinking Friday because next week's going to be the Friday night game. But anyway, GIO Canberra. So the Sharkies moving away from Shark Park, going over to Canberra, brother. Both teams pretty much to what they were in the last finals. Britton Nicoda has been officially named in that 14 jersey, not back in the starting lineup. Colquhoun and Billy Burns hold on to their positions there. I wouldn't say there's going to be any late admissions in this one from memory. So your thoughts on this game, bro? Who you got and who's your anytime try scorers to give some people some jam at home?
I think I'm going to ride the high of Cronulla. I think Canberra's going to be a little bit worse for wear, and I think Cronulla might be on a high, and they might be able to cause another ambush here. So I'm going to ride Cronulla in a 1-12 contest, and I'm going to go with Ronaldo to get over. And for Canberra, I'm going to go with Zach Hoskins for Canberra.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's a good one. For me, I'm going to go to Raiders 1-12. I think they'll probably bounce back. I think Ricky will have them fucking really ramped up for this one. Again, Sharkies' incredible performance last week. I still don't know what I read with the Sharks a lot of the times, and I think their balance sometimes is a little bit off. I think Kale Iro is a massive in for them. I think he's changed a lot for him as well. But I think the Raiders, after last week, I think they're going to come in and hopefully, come home with the Chockies. Me, my anytime try scorer, I would probably say a little outside shout. I'm going Simi Sasungi. I love what Simi Sasungi's been doing at the moment. Coming off the bench, I think he'll bring a lot of great impact. Yep. And for the Sharkies, I am probably going to go... I'm going to go Kale Ito. I think he's probably going to be lower odds try scorer, but I think him with, from memory, what's Matty Tomokolo's side? I think it's the left side for the Raiders.
He's right side.
Right side Raiders is the one that got tore apart by the Broncos last week. So Kale Ito, he'll be
Kale
over.
Ito, Ronaldo, that side.
Yep. That's where the tries are going to be scored. So, yep, I'm going to go Simi Sasungi and Kale Ito there for this game here, and Canberra 1-12.
Right. Ash going Raiders.
I'm going Raiders.
Simi and KL.
That's it, baby. That's it. That should be anytime jam for you guys. Jump on at home and make sure you gamble responsibly, as I continue to say.
100%.
All right, big game this weekend for you, my brother. You got the Sunday game, the Doggies versing the Penrith Panthers at a core. This is going to be absolutely packed. This is going to go absolutely mental. This game could go many different ways. The big talking point coming to this game, though, is your boy Stephen Crichton's still been named there in the reserves. He's fighting to get back from his injury. Do you think he returns?
Look, it's no harm in naming him in 23. You know, it's still 6 days away.
Yep.
They clearly see something that he potentially could play. And what if you got to Saturday and, well, you can't name any more than you're 25. So I like the decision to name him and see what comes from it.
And Mitch Kenny there sits in the reserves as well, so he might be a late replacement. From what I hear, he should be back in for this game as well. So Viliami Kikau obviously passes. Did you hear the story also that he turned down scans on his eye just in case they try to force him out of this game?
Yeah, well, look, he got through the rest of the game last week, so I don't see what is the point of potentially being ruled out.
Yeah, right there with you. A shout out to him though. Powering through as always. And shout one thing also, again, we forgot to sort of mention, shout out to Stephen Crichton. Went down, well, whatever issue he ends up having, hearing syndesmosis, hearing many different things that he's gone through right now with foot injury, but him staying on the field, hampered with the foot injury, he's done it multiple times this year as well. His leadership just to stay on and just say, nah, like the boys, you just got to power through. That's why the Dogs are special at the moment.
But look, the leadership and the mentality that he carries himself with is incredible.
Yeah. Reed Marnie back in the lineup as well. What's your score prediction, bro? Who's your try scorers?
I'm going to have to go the Panthers 1-12 here, but I reckon it's going to be a really close one. Just don't know about the firepower with this team on that we got lining up. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I've got the belief that the boys can do it, but I'm not going to sit here and try and bluff anyone that I think we have more chance of winning than we do losing. So if I was a betting man, I'm going Penrith here. I still think it's going to be a really close contest, just like when we met them in the regular season. I just think Panthers in a final game, different beast. But I'm really, really hoping for the boys. I think if we could play anything like we did last week and not have injuries disrupt our game, we can stay in that rhythm and beat the Panthers with this squad. But we need a fair bit of the bounce of the ball to go our way. But for the sake of the multi and what's more likely to happen, I'm going the Panthers 1-12 here. I'm going to go with Case McLean to score anytime, and I'm going to go with Jacob Carraz to score anytime.
I'm going to follow you with the Penrith Panthers, but I pretty much agree with all your sentiments. I think the Dogs have a strong argument to say that they can contend in this game. They can push them all the way through. And I think that the Broncos will be watching this game sitting back and going like, if the Panthers go through, they're going to be really, really tested in this game, enough to like probably take the juice out of them as well. And the Dogs on a similar boat as well. I think the Panthers are going to really take a lot of juice out of them. So this is why winning that first game is such a big thing for those guys in the top four, and such a big thing for the final series in general. All these sides are going to have to contend with some tough matchups. You know, the Panthers going through us and you guys. Both teams notoriously play hard games. So it's definitely a big one. But I'm going to go Penrith 1-12. I think that, for me, I'm going to go with... this one's tough. This one's really, really tough. I'm going to go with Paul Alamonte, anytime try scorer for the Panthers. And I'm going to go with... I want to go something a little bit juicy. I'm going to go Jacob Preston, anytime try scorer for the Doggies.
I was thinking of Tupanua.
Oh, Satili off the bench.
But I might have that as a sneaky on the side.
Impact off the bench, bring him on. Have absolutely running the muck in the middle there. Could be a Reed Marnie.
Could be a Reed Marnie this week. It could be a Liam Henry off the bench, or a Zia PAPALI'I again. But nonetheless, excited for this game. Sunday, really, really keen.
And Jose, is this the first time you've tipped against the Dogs on stream, Ash? Cleary is the difference. I've been a massive believer in the Dogs, just like what they've built for the year. So I think it might be.
Ash tipped the Warriors against us.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's got to be another team that was in there.
I think you went Melbourne on the weekend.
No, I went to Dogs. I did go to Dogs. Yeah,
go to Dogs.
Yeah, okay. I went to Dogs. I'm a believer, but Cleary is definitely a big difference in this one. And like, you know, for anyone to argue otherwise, you know, Cleary is the best halfback in the game, and not many other teams have a halfback to his level. And a halfback is such a big key in rugby league these days. So I don't think it's just that. I think that Mosley Oda and that leading from the front is going to be an incredible battle for the middle. But when you got those added playmakers off the back of that, I think Nathan Cleary is going to be a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, when you got a halfback like Cleary, he's going to put you in a position to score more points than most other halfbacks. It's whether if the team can do it or not. That's the way I see it.
And just quickly, ARW, don't see Broncos beating Penrith next week without Paddy Carrigan either.
Brother, I would love to agree with you, but Brisbane at Suncorp in that game against Melbourne, nobody gave him a chance, and the crowd got right behind him. And I was at this game live. It was deafening, bro, and you just could not get anything going as a Melbourne fan. Yeah. I could see the same thing kind of happen to Penrith and then getting ambushed. Not to mention Penrith had to go from New Zealand week 1 to a packed out of core week 2 and then to come up to Brisbane for week 3. I know they had the week off before the finals, before the Dragons game, before the finals, but that's a lot of travel and Brisbane to get the kick back. So who
if
knows?
They do it,
I agree it'll be hard. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, go on, brother.
What's even crazier is they have the chance to do it. I think that there's a more opportunity now than what there is for them to continue to do this. I think that, like, I agree with your points exactly. Like, they come off a trip to Auckland, and like I continue to say, for anyone that thought that that was a pushover game and they just walked over us, I think that was a really tough tussle of a game, and I thought that we really tested it with them. You guys this week are going to take it to another level because you guys have a really tough, like, you know, a really close matchup with the Penrith Panthers earlier this season to say that you're going to take a little bit of juice out of them as well. You've gone through two sides that play very similar football. They're going to beat them up through the middle, and they're going to have to go one more again to go to Brisbane at Suncorp. That's a big, big difference.
You know what? For me, if we lose to the Panthers this week, short of it either being Canberra or Cronulla that I'll be cheering for, it's going to be the Panthers that I'm cheering for. I'm sorry. Everybody's written them off this year, and everybody just hates them because they ain't them. And for them to still be able to do it again this year, after the start, after losing more players, after people saying they couldn't, if they had to turn around and get through us, I'll be cheering them on.
And shout out to Ivan Cleary. If anyone's gotten Ivan Cleary's book and read through like the storyline, how he got the Panthers to where he is and like whatever happened in his career with the Warriors, stuff like that, he needs to make a whole nother book if they go all the way this year, because what they're doing this year is just on a different level. And this whole, I don't know. It's been a crazy period of rugby league. It's so crazy.
He's about to get a volume 2 book if he takes it out this year.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you. All right, brother, we'll quickly jump over to finish off the show, guys. Obviously, again, you guys know SuperCoach bring out their final series. So we're going to be touching on quickly our finals teams week in, week out. Let us know in the comment sections if you have your finals team, how you guys are going for your week 1. And again, I think the league's locked out now, right? You can't go head-to-head with us anymore?
Nah, I don't think you can jump in head-to-head now.
Yeah. All good, all good. All right, my bro. So with me, I've got Blake Bradley there in the hooker at the moment. He's my vice captain for this week. So switched up a little bit from Harry Grant of last week. Obviously, no Harry Grant this week. So still Blake Bradley's, I think, a good one for me there. Joseph Tarpanay, Jacob Preston, Nathan Cleary then a halfback with the captain on him this week. Definitely can go in multiple different ways. We spoke about it off air, but at the moment, I'll keep it there for now. Matty Burton in the 6, Brian To'o, Dylan Edwards, and Hudson Young in the flex.
I like it. Now, I'm much similar to you, brother. I really, really like it. The vice captain on Brayley, I think you're going to get a good 80 out of him. I think you could take the risk on somebody else if you wanted to chase more points, but I think if you go on consistency there and risking it with a biscuit for captaincy, I think you're going the right way.
Yep, 100%, bro. I'm really excited for, performances of I think Joseph Tarpanay against Adam Fanor-Blake. Tarpanay loves stepping up in big games and stuff. Obviously 67 against Payne Haas and that doesn't look incredible to what it is, but I think that, again, a guy that is very underrated, I think, in the competition right now, Joseph Tarpanay, I cannot wait to see.
100%, brother. He's probably going to be a good one now to ride, stick and forget if he gets through this week as a front row option.
And to the boys in the chat right now, obviously going back and forth, and Jazzy obviously coming out. Sorry, my bro, about that. I don't want to be copying that shit without anything being said. Don't stress, brother. You can obviously come back on that, but yeah, probably let it simmer down, guys. Drizzy, I don't have any moderators or anything. I don't know why your comment got dropped out. It could be just YouTube if you said certain words and stuff like that that is not on YouTube, like YouTube allow. It could be that, and I don't think it was Jazz. As Jazz says, he doesn't have a page, so he's probably not understanding what you're coming through. And obviously with Jazzy, you're all good, my bro. You've been a big supporter of the channel for a long period of time. Don't ever say sorry to me, my bro. You do you, bros. And guys, yeah, just let us simmer down in the chat. Don't go crazy. Everyone's got an opinion, but don't go crazy with some personal attacks either.
I think I might have missed this.
Yeah, Drizzy came early with some personal attacks earlier as well. So, you know, it was well within your rights, Jazzy. But obviously, guys, let's leave it be for the time being for now. Yeah, crazy moments early on the stream.
I'm trying to scroll and find it. But anyway.
I think the comments, it might have got deleted even again. Again, as I said, I don't have any moderators on my account. I did see message retracted in that, so it could be just YouTube. I'm not too sure. Actually, I think I do have like a night bot from like my days of Twitch, so that could be other like, you know, reasons why your comment got deleted, bro. So don't blame other people in the chat either.
Moving on.
All right, but moving over to your side, I'll quickly get over to duos. Anything more? Who else we got? Jose, is anyone risking Ronnie Ronnie Mulatalo this weekend, probably for the finals?
Yeah, I am. I think they got a good matchup there on that left edge against Jed Stewart and Tim McCall. And Reese pulled that apart on the weekend. So I just checked your multi, brother. It was $220 or something for your 4 try scorers and the 2 winners.
Oh, I like it. And what's yours?
Mine was 58, but I didn't put in the head-to-head. So my try scorers were 58 for the 4 try scorers. And then I didn't add in Cronulla and Panthers. So add Cronulla in. I think they're at 250. That's like 117. That's 130 something. And then add Penrith into that at $1.22. It's probably like maybe 150, 170.
Quick math. Shout out to you there. Shout out to you, brother. So what was mine all together again?
Like 220.
220? Yeah, not bad.
250.
I might have a little play. Have a little fiddle.
Chuck $1 on it, but I like that other one, $3 to 100K. That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a little taste on that. ARW, appreciate you coming through as always. Big contributor in the chat at the moment as well. Shout out to you.
If you make me 100K off $3, brother, thank you.
We'll love you. All right, just quickly, guys, this is where we're probably going to end it off if there's any more questions after too. Brodie's team for this week. Blake Brayley there in the number 9 same here. Joseph Tarpany, Hudson Young, Nathan Cleary, Matty Burton, Jacob Carraz being the point differential there. Dylan Edwards and Jacob Preston.
Yeah, brother. It's tough this week. Don't get me wrong. Very, very tough this week. And shout out to Hosier, who racked it up last week, by the way.
What did he get?
He got 900. I think he took our league out. Like, if you go into leagues there, brother, he's leading our league, the final amateurs. And Chriso, you're right, brother. Wooden spoon if you're still in the chat.
Shout out to you there. Shama.
Yeah. Fucking killer, brother. I think you had Ali Katoa, which I did have in my flex, but then I let go. And perfect captaincy option with Payne. I bet you're sweating that at one stage there when he went down. But Reese, vice captain, good pick.
Great pick.
All around great picks there for Hosier. I think he's doing the finals better than he's all season.
Shout out to you, Jose. Oh, fuck. I thought I had Payne as captain. No, we went Teddy in that, right? Probably just missed on my captains there. Harry Grant, 63. Probably looking back on it, probably wasn't a go against the Dogs, but, you know, still.
It's exciting, though. I like the whole vice captain, double captain for triple. I think they might need to bring that for the actual Supercoach season.
Agreed, bro. Agreed. Yeah. Maybe there is a way that they can do something like that for the season. Why won't it let me see your team from last week? Do this. Oh, no, don't remove me.
Hey. Don't kick him out. Maybe if you
Game
go.
day.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll be it. We'll go like this.
Yeah, they're our squads from last week.
Nathan Cleary at the 258. James Tedesco 164, obviously with their captaincy upgrades. Alamonte, Brayley, Hudson Young, Munster, Haas, and Semi Walker. Could have gone amazing.
Semi Walker was my one that I switched out. I switched in Ali Katoa. I switched in Ronaldo. And then I was like, oh, Semi Walker. And I went with Semi Walker. And I was like, fuck, the worst out of all of them.
Bro, I missed on Hutto. I should have had Hudson Young. I went Jacob Preston. And it didn't get obviously any Supercoach points to the highest standard of Hudson Young in that game. But it's just how open that game was with the Raiders and the Broncos probably helped him there.
Definitely. We're definitely chasing you this week, Hosier.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Jose. So make sure you stay on top. And actually, who you got this week, Jose? Let's know your team.
Don't just stick in pick ours now, mate. Just to stay in front of us. We might switch up last minute now from now on.
Yeah, we might have to. Jose's
probably with a stud squad next week, just bench players only.
What a beast, bro. What a beast. All right, Bella, anything more you want to touch on before we go?
So I've got tonight, brother. We'll let everybody have an early mark.
Yeah. That's pretty close to our normal show anyway. An hour and 14, only about 15 minutes off, if that.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll be even shorter again next week with only 2 games of rugby league.
Exactly. And then we're coming very, very close to that one big game at the end of the season, brother. At the moment, give us your tip for grand final. At the moment, anything changed yet?
Melbourne Penrith.
Melbourne Penrith. I'm going Broncos, Melbourne.
Broncos, Melbourne.
Yeah. I think that might be the go. Yeah.
Either or, me and Ash is also trying to get tickets for Suncorp next week.
100%. Can't wait to see if we can. Well, hopefully it's a Dogs game. As I said, Brody don't want to go to a Dogs game at Suncorp every time he's rolled up there, unfortunately.
No. I'll be watching that one from home. I'll be selling my ticket.
Oh, we love it. We love it. All right, brother. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Thank you so much for coming through. Again, guys, you all been absolutely amazing. Obviously, my Warriors are out of the finals, but we can cheer on the doggies for my boy Brody here, down unders. Also, big shout out to all you guys jumping in the chat and producing every week in, week out for helping out with the channel as well. We'll continue on out. Again, I know Wise Up TV live streaming has finished up for the year, but I will be going all the way up till the international break, and me and Brody obviously discuss what we're doing through international break and stuff like that for the future. But do keep an eye out for the channel all the way through your final series. Come here and we'll give you our updates and our thoughts coming to the finals and see how everything is going. But appreciate you guys. Up the Dogs for the weekend. Have a great one.
Up the doggies. We'll see you guys next season.
Later, guys.